Ты уже начал снимать, да?
Да, я
17, да? Глубина 315.
17, да, 315.
I'm lost, Igor. I have no idea where we are.
What do you want, Paul?
I'm saying I have no idea where we are. Do you know where we are? I think we now are in the valley, maybe. Are we in Broken Spur Valley?
You think that we are inside?
I don't know. You're the navigator.
Yeah.
We must be very close to the western wall. We're looking west, and a beautiful chimney, a double chimney on the top. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. Very large one on the southern side.
Вообще капут, а высокий какой.
Magnificent thing. I like the sample.
Brazil.
Is a sample a Brazil?
Yes, yes. You want to?
I would like a sample.
Yes.
Here.
Is there?
It's absolutely classical. It's a shame to attack it. Now we're getting close to our abattoir. The arm's coming in. The arm's going over. We hope it's going to come into the basket. Coming up to us. Give us it, boy. Bang. He's knocking the back one in order to get a bit of movement. Here it goes. Please forgive us, for we know not what we do. Here we go. We didn't get it. It's at the bottom. We've got to go down to get it. He's knocked the top off, Victor. Should have been a brain surgeon. Mongol. A Mongol, yes. Genghis Khan.
The ink was hardly dry on the contract when the Keldysh set out from Southampton. On board a Russian research ship equipped with 2 submarines, there was a group of British scientists. The object of the voyage was to study hydrothermal vents on the bottom of the Atlantic at the mid-ocean ridge. Nicknamed black smokers, these volcanic hot springs may be able to tell us about the workings of the Earth, the chemistry of the oceans, and even perhaps the origins of life itself. They're a fantastic new challenge to science. The Natural Environment Research Council, that's NERC for short, had chartered the Akademik Keldysh to take us to and from the targets. A unique Anglo-Russian cooperation costing nearly £500,000. I'm a geochemist. My name is Rachel Mills, and I'd been up half the night when the film crew first grabbed me. I want to get my science done. I've got some really clear ideas of what I want to sample and what I want to take back with me and what I want to do for the next 3 years. And that's the most important thing. But I think the beauty of this is the fact that we've got so many people from different disciplines on board for the first time, really, because it's such a large ship. We've got the biologists and the geologists and the physicists and the chemists, and we can actually get an awful lot of interdisciplinary work done, which we really can't do on sort of a standard cruise when you've got 15 people on board. So that's a really good sort of chance to do something different. Things were pretty chaotic for the first few days. Some of us had heavy equipment to unpack and then set up in lab space, which the Russians had cleared for us. 50 Russian scientists on board had squeezed up to make room for 30 Brits, and it wasn't easy fitting us all in.
I'm happy if we have assistance in moving 5 tons down below and they can clear out that space.
It'd be good. I think that all people are happy.
More or less.
This was the first time that the expedition's top brass had met, and Leo Savostin, the expedition leader, clearly wanted our joint venture to succeed.
I had that we find place for Adam. For Adam. It means necessary to organize, to invite some people who can help.
That would be nice. Because as you see the space we're taking now. So
Yes,
you
yeah,
see
I see.
where is the Geochemistry equipment? This one?
You know where you're going, Mervyn, don't you?
Yeah, backwards.
It's going to be up high, boys.
Oh, bugger me.
Of course, the Russians knew the ship inside out. But to us, the Keldysh was a bewildering labyrinth. All the doors on 7 decks looked the same, and for a while it was possible to get lost between cabin, laboratories and dining room. Shipboard Russian cuisine was, well, basic. Lots of cabbage and beetroot soup, occasional meatballs. We had to depend upon the Russians' efforts to speak English and hope that the common language of science would bring us together. It was all very strange, particularly for the younger British scientists, all of whom were PhD students.
Where did you get a lot more people who can speak French and can speak Russian, and it's a case, I think it's probably just going to take longer. Eventually we'll get there, I'm sure, and we'll work out who people are and who the right person is to talk to. But I think, I don't know about you, Rachel, but I think it's probably just going to be harder work than you've had before.
They're all very friendly.
Yes,
and willing to help you out and stuff like that.
It's just that they're
Definitely
sort of starting to come out of the woodwork now, whereas before I didn't know who the scientists were. All we ever see are the cleaning people, the waitress. But I think we'll get there. As soon as the science happens, it's going to come together, I think.
It must have felt odd to the Russian scientists too, mixing with us Brits after years of isolation in the former Soviet Union. Kostya and Zhenya are both geologists.
It's Kostya. He's an organizer. He's a general manager of the expedition. It's
Joe.
And I was, yes. Of course, it's a pity that in UK, in the States, in everywhere abroad, and a few people speak Russian and understand Russian and can read Russian. And that's why, and for them, our science is terra incognita. And sometimes they think that we don't know anything, but we know a lot. And we are equipped not very well, of course, and we have got not too much money, but and there is a good expression, if you are poor, you need to think.
One early task was to explain our instruments, so the Russian engineers could make sure they were deployable by the submarines. In this case, Nikolai got a briefing from Harry and Adam on our double bottles made of titanium.
Is there seawater in the inlet that we don't want in the water bottle? So this is going to flush that out for us.
These were for sampling hot fluids from the black smokers.
And so this is used once on a dive. It's just held by the arm, or picked up by the arm in a position. It's used once, and then it's put in the basket. Done. And we have 3 of these.
This is quite a complex device. Other things were more basic. Sewing up a net to catch tiny plankton was a job for Tanya, a Russian biologist.
This is trip for catching the blue plankton.
And there was Magnus, a British biologist, with his shrimp trap.
Inside it's all painted black, and there's 2 holes which allow the shrimps in, but they won't let the light won't be able to penetrate into the middle compartment. And we're going to bait it with sardines and tomato sauce.
In some sense, it's one of our primary devices for this cruise, and we've been very hard-pressed to finish these in time. We've brought 4 with us.
Adam is a geophysicist. His device was in a league of its own.
Medusa. Well, of course, is the Greek mythology, right? It's got lots of heads on it, but it also stands, as we all know, for made in England, doesn't usually sample anything. Thank you.
Adam's Medusa team were exhausted by weeks of work trying to get the equipment ready on time. Derek was even having trouble remembering its name.
This is the electronics pack for which is running the what do you call it? Well, Medusa. It's attached to Medusa.
As the Keldysh crawled southward, never managing more than 8.5 knots, the weather grew warmer and the dive site at Broken Spur came steadily nearer. The ship was isolated, its own little world of cultural exchange, where we really began to meet people. In fact, day and night it seemed like an endless sequence of meetings.
And I beg my pardon for my primitive English.
Some evenings there were lectures which most of the scientists came to, Brits and Russians. But we met more often in smaller groups, all working towards a dive plan.
A hydrothermal site. It's a strong plume. Yeah.
The dredge site that we found on CD77 was, what did you say?
It's off the map.
It's off the map up here.
Somewhere.
We dredged sulfides up here. There are no detailed maps of the deep ocean floor to make planning easy. We had to discuss every scrap of information.
Rise as high as the eastern wall, and that we're getting a very weak reflection as a result from the western wall. So there's clearly a downdrop into something that's sort of like a graben.
During these meetings, we began to understand things about the Russians. In general, they were older than us, and the hierarchy of their scientists was very strict, much more formal than ours. Professor Lizitsyn, head of the Russian geophysics group, had only just achieved elite status despite a very distinguished scientific career.
Not for physical astronomy, but for us, for study of the plum.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
For years, the Russian Academy of Sciences kept him out because he never joined the Communist Party.
Have maybe 10 persons who will...
On the other hand, the head of the Russian biologists, Professor Vinogradov, had been a member of the Academy of Sciences for decades. He's a plankton expert.
Phytoplankton, picoplankton, nanoplankton, microplankton, the quantity, quality, primary productivity, chlorophyll, mesoplankton, micromesoplankton, mesoplankton from two...
His research students treated him with great deference, much more than British equivalents would do. But the traditions of the Russian old guard didn't make for quick decisions on a crucial issue like the dive plan.
Geology and infusoria, flagellates.
Agreement had to be hammered out urgently in EXCOM, the executive committee, and sort of high command of the expedition.
Northern part and southern part.
Harry was chairman. He's from Cambridge, a great scientist and an old friend. With amazing patience and diplomacy, he kept things moving. Professor Vinogradov was one of the 4 co-chief scientists of the expedition. I was another, and so was Adam.
Yeah. How fast does the ship go during the plume transit?
Although obviously American, he's also from Cambridge.
1.5.
By agreement, Adam played the pushy role beside Harry's diplomacy. But in the end, Leo Savostin sorted it all out. Leo was both leader of the expedition and the newly appointed director of the Shirshov Institute in Moscow, which owns this ship.
These results. If we will have, if not, not. But in any case, after all discussion, we decided that this transaction is very important.
After a fortnight at sea, we arrived over the first dive site. 2¼ miles straight down, we should find the hydrothermal vents at Broken Spur. The engineers were working day and night to get the sub ready for Leo to make the first dive.
During first dive, we have opportunity to be a little more flexible compared with all another dive. We plan to dive in a special place, study exact hot spring, but in first dive, I'd like to look around and have opportunities to find something new.
As expedition leader, Leo was responsible for the safety of us all, and he insisted on checking everything himself. This would be his first dive in a Mir submarine, and he knew that after a complete refit, the sub had only been tested to a depth of 1,500 meters, less than half the depth at Broken Spur.
Используется это, значит, вот этот вот сонар, наш Тульвертек, и фуруно эхосаундер. Фуруно размещено тоже на вращающейся головке, вот. И поэтому можно им пользоваться как локатором.
Nikolai explained the systems of the sub. Incidentally, Mir means peace, or world in Russian. Their space lab has the same name.
And many, many additional things. And
this tool.
Yes, I don't like to have experience in real situation to use this. But of course tomorrow, everything tomorrow. It's first dive after a long period of repairing. First dive in real depth.
On the morning of his dive, Leo made a gesture towards keeping fit. In fact, he'd been up at dawn, sending faxes to Moscow and Houston via satellite. From the middle of the Atlantic, he was trying to run the Kirchhoff Institute and his own ocean survey business in America. Lydia, known on the ship as the mother of submarines, had shortened Leo's suit. From now on, he was in the hands of the subcrew.
Видите, это вам будет хорошо, это все-таки свободнее, да?
Да, точно.
Прекрасно. Ну, окей.
Хорошо. Ладно. Спасибо.
А теплый я положу.
Хорошо, обязательно.
Leo seemed quite relaxed, but on top of everything else, he had gone without a cigarette for 12 hours. No easy matter for a 60-a-day man. Smoking is strictly forbidden before and during a dive, so the Brits had rustled up some nicotine chewing gum.
Команда ведь. Что делать будем?
Нет, сфотографироваться.
Ну, давайте сфотографируем.
Традиционный снимок. Делайте, пожалуйста.
Нельзя снимать скачки.
The submariners had almost the same status as astronauts in the former Soviet Union. In fact, their explorations were so dangerous they were known as heroes of the hydrocosmos. We all prayed that they would be safe and that Leo would find Broken Spur. At the surface, the task of finding Broken Spur looked simple enough in bright sunshine, where you could see for a dozen miles. But it wouldn't be so easy after 3 hours sinking straight down 2¼ miles. The sublights would only shine about 10 meters into the near-freezing, unmapped blackness. It might get lost, or fly close to a black smoker and simply not see it. Leo was entering the hydrocosmos, and when all is said and done, we know more about the surface of Venus than what's down here. In the control room, the duty crew, Harry, Adam, and Lydia, the mother of submarines, waited for news. Mir 2 had been gone for nearly 10 hours. Somewhere 3½ kilometers below the ship, Leo was searching for the black smokers, exploring a landscape covered by cold lava. This is where the Atlantic is being born. Each volcanic eruption which pours out these pillow lavas gradually spreads the ocean floor and moves America further apart from Europe and Africa.
This canyon is exactly in absolute center of the rift. It's a very young fault, no older as 1,000–2,000 years. And of course, as geologist, to me, it's very interesting to fly inside of this canyon, we find Saracen Head and Spur. You never seen such type hydrothermal activities in such scale on the Earth's surface. It's huge and it's fantastic impression.
So far, only a handful of black smoker chimneys like this one have been discovered in the Atlantic, although there may be hundreds of them on the mid-ocean ridges around the world. They are quick-growing, crumbly structures built out of minerals which the hot fluids deposit as soon as they're chilled by cold seawater. This is the tailpipe of a mysterious system of natural plumbing. It begins with seawater percolating down through faults in the ocean floor, then coming close to very hot volcanic magma and reacting with the rock. The fluids which return to gush out of a black smoker chimney are superheated and loaded with metallic sulfides. Below the present chimneys, where others have collapsed and the escaping fluids are less hot, there's a zone of shimmering water. This is where life is concentrated. So it was here that Leo deployed Magnus's shrimp trap. In the frantic preparations for this first dive, he'd forgotten to remove the aluminium foil.
Принято, глубина 3093 метра, прекратили движение, готовитесь к всплытию. Сообщите ваши координаты приема. Ready to go.
We have our coordinates now.
3093 meters.
Although he hadn't discovered any new black smokers, Leo had found Saracen's Head and Spire, the heart of Broken Spur. That was the triumph of Dive 1.
Сигаретку? Уже приготовили.
Конфеток наелся.
Обещал бросить.
Нет, а в общем-то так.
Ну, все отлично. Под конец достигли, нет?
Нет, мы на старом поле нашли новый курильщик. Ух ты! Ну, блеск. Ну, скорость. Спасибо. Мы сейчас. Это подводные будут делать. Straps. We put in so beautiful place. I will show.
Yeah. You got lots of video?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Your first cigarette for 48 hours?
It's no problem.
А вот брать со дна нельзя. Таким большим.
Можно было много взять, но я решил, раз отбирают стекло, так взять на свету.
Leo returned with only one rock specimen, a lump of volcanic glass. This stuff forms like a skin when basalt lava erupts into seawater and is instantly chilled.
Yeah, if you move the light.
Magnus and John looked for small life forms, things like pteropod eggs and little worms. But one rock would not go far among a shipload of specimen-hungry scientists. We would have to get more samples directly from the ship. In the early mornings, the submariners prepared for the grueling dives to come. Later, the crew played volleyball, while the scientists worked in their labs, read their books, or got ready to do what we call over-the-side science. John Wilson's rock dredge, for example, using tried and tested, even antique technology. With this, we might get lucky and bring up some sulfides from near a black smoker. Or Professor Vinogradov's giant water sample bottles. Perhaps the biologists could find plankton in the water which had been affected by the plume of smoke from the black smokers. John's dredge did bring up a surprise. Some exceptionally deep water coral.
Fantastic! 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 My God, that's fantastic! 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 Good! Good! Really, really good! Yeah, fantastic!
Next day would be the first British dive, and Adam was understandably nervous about testing the Medusa. This would be the first outing for our most complex instrument.
We're going to an area where the pressures are nearly 350, maybe depending on the depth, 400 times atmospheric pressure. The temperatures can be 400 degrees higher than on the surface of the Earth. There are enormous problems building things that can survive that kind of temperature and pressure in a corrosive environment of black smokers and all the rest, without sounding too melodramatic. The difficulties in terms of materials and in terms of construction of devices that can actually stand those fluids and be deployed from a submersible with people inside is really a bit challenging. Everything is pressure tested. We try to certify anything that holds air, basically, that could possibly implode. Because if you think about a volume of air down at 3,500 meters in the ocean, well, it costs a lot of money to have a hole in the ocean. And the reason for that is the amount of energy stored in a cubic meter of ocean water at 3.5 kilometers depth is enormous. So were you to let that volume instantly implode, it would be extremely dangerous to a submersible or any man-made structure nearby. We're going to go north along that ridge and then down into the valley toward Beacon 3. We'll explore in that area. If that fails, then we're going to go the way you came in reverse to go up to Broken Spur. If we find something big, then we'll talk and say, hey, we found something big.
Okay, after this, to the north.
Yes, absolutely.
It's about 1.5 miles.
So we have all these problems. We have big volumes that can implode, and we have things that don't like seawater under enormous pressure in the sea. And this is hard up against a submersible that has 3 people in it. We have a lot of confidence in the submersible crew. They're really good. I mean, we've established a good rapport with them. The subsystem looks really good. So that doesn't worry me so much. It's just there's a lot new here, and I've never been on a dive where every system that has been installed has been completely new. And, well, we'll see.
As Adam began his 3-hour descent, he wasn't just preoccupied with the Medusa. This was also an engineering dive designed to test Mir 1 after its refit, as Leo had done with Mir 2, by taking it really deep.
Couldn't buy it.
good day.
Says, Mom, touch me.
Today's a good day to die.
Adam set off to look for new black smokers, but didn't find any, so his dive was not much fun.
And we're on a hummock of pillow lava, pillow basalt.
He had to test the Medusa on a spot where there was no shimmering water, so he couldn't take any measurements of flow and temperature. But he was able to confirm that the systems of the device all worked.
Oh, yes. Yes?
Even the spring-loaded water sample bottles fired okay.
Fantastic. Drawing a water sample. Excellent, excellent. Some good news. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's 22:14, and we successfully fired the first water bottle using.
Adam was on his way to Broken Spur. And then...
It's weird. So it took us fully 5 hours to get to where Leo stopped his dive. And so at that point, we were making a run for Broken Spur when simultaneously Leo said, let's go up, and we ran out of power at the same time. We had no more power. And because we were running out of power, the navigation failed. So we had no navigation. The data logger failed, and the video failed. We basically had no power on the 24-volt circuit or any of that. And in fact, we couldn't even run my laptop anymore because we couldn't run 120 volts to keep it going. So it's time to go home at that point.
Were you in what you considered the diffuse flow then, for part of it?
No, there was no at
sign
no
of that.
point was there any sign of hydrothermalism whatsoever. We were in neo-volcanic, very fresh material, surprising heavy sediment cover. About 2 centimeters.
2 centimeters. No. 2 centimeters, it means several million years. It's not correct with this rate. And in some pocket, yes, maybe, but not.
No, you have the top surfaces have a light dusting, but where you have a depression in between these, you have about 2 centimeters. There's adequate video of that, so you can see that. Yeah. So I'm very happy about that. The Medusa worked perfectly, and then time to go. Literally out of power, and we came back up.
The dives now came thick and fast. Launched in the day, retrieved at night. Sometimes with both subs, Mir 1 and Mir 2, down on the bottom at the same time. People didn't sleep. They waited in the hope that a returning sub might bring good specimens, some rocks or some biology. The rule was to wait until the observer had climbed down to distribute what the sub basket contained. But the temptation to see what was in Magnus's shrimp trap was just too much.
Get away!
I'm not taking him home.
Get away! We have rules.
Tell what about it, thanks. I say the bit of a disaster trying to get over. Sorry? You take one of these?
Straight up, yeah.
Adam and Paul and Martin. Each dive found navigation easier and explored more of Broken Spur. Each dive took more measurements and gathered more specimens. Black smoker plume smoke, which can't boil because of the pressure, registered 350 degrees Celsius. Lumps of sulfide were grabbed near the black smoker chimneys and brought back to the ship.
Oh, another rock.
Oh, that's beautiful. We spent hours trying to get something like that.
It's very important to have, some small maybe. This, maybe this, I don't know. This. This.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
The scientific spoils were divided for further analysis when everybody got back home.
Well, I think about here.
Yes.
You agree to that?
Yes, sure.
This is about 1/3, 2/3. But cut it carefully.
But I'll do it carefully, but I'm not sure of the best result.
When Kostya had cut the rocks open on a wobbly old disc saw, you could easily see how rich they are in metals. Lumps of copper, zinc and iron sulfide. Some samples even have traces of gold and uranium. Along with the rocks, the first biological samples were recovered. Then creatures began to arrive on the ship by the bucket load.
We've got gastropods, we've got shrimp, and we've got anemones. And there's more to come.
Do you bring any sulfide up?
Oh dear, a bit tough on it.
These are all species which are quite new to science. They look like familiar creatures, but they're specially adapted to live near the vents. The shrimps, for example.
That is Corocaris, but I'm not sure which species.
Magnus is studying their strange eyes, which may be heat rather than light detectors. Several days and nights passed like a vivid dream, and then suddenly it was time to leave Broken Spur. The ship set off for 2 days' voyage further south to Tag, the bigger, older and better known hydrothermal vent area. At Tag, I would get my first dive. Well, we're trying to sort out the Medusa. It looks like the one we were going to deploy, the optics on it aren't working at the moment, so we might have to change that over and put it into survey mode, which means that this one here is probably going to go first, and I'm going to be doing a survey as well, which is a sort of change in plan from what we had envisaged this morning.
It makes much worse. Well, to be honest, it's far more likely that there's something wrong with the optics than the emitter.
19 days, and I'm actually going to go in the water. So we've got all this gear in the basket, this Medusa, and we've got this push corers, and we've got the high temperature syringes, and I'm going to go and do a survey of the mound, and hopefully get some water samples for the people that are into the low temperature flow.
Should be a, same deal as before. It's not right. Yeah, that should have a strength member in it. It doesn't. It's water over the bridge, but that's a loss. So basically, the two elements of the system that could possibly be off, the cable assembly and the optical driver, both have spares.
Unfortunately, the optical driver has temperature circuits on it as well, which haven't been calibrated. But I don't think it'll be the optical driver myself. I think I'm pretty sure
it looks pretty obvious.
Okay, so plan B is let Rachel go first with her basket.
Yes.
We fix this, stick it back on.
Well, let's make that decision. That means that what I will do is go into Mir 2 and get the computers going. You guys pull that out, get it fixed. Well, we're putting in 3 buoyant ones. You got 6, you got 9 markers.
I told them to take them out.
I told them to put them back, so shush.
Well, I just thought that, you're probably reducing.
They won't. This is the
No mistake.
They've got it right.
I don't know which people I have to ask.
Well, he tells me he can't have anything in the basket.
Yeah, but they now have...
You're an observer. Harry is the big boss.
Sign it.
Harry, выбочку.
Я в экипаж.
Woman, sound of woman.
As we began to go down, I did wonder how I'd survive without a toilet for what might be 18 hours. But I felt quite safe inside the capsule with Nick and Sergei, who have dived scores of times before. This is Sergei Sukonkin, co-pilot and navigator. And this is Nikolai Petko, the pilot.
Rachel, работу себе нашла, да?
Right. I think we've got to go 50 meters either southeast or south. What do you think? Sergei?
Nothing. I look to you.
You're the navigator. We did find the hydrothermal vent, and when we did, it was extraordinary. Like an oasis, teeming with life in an otherwise near-deserted seafloor. Of course, what we couldn't see were the newly discovered bacteria, which live at very high temperatures, feeding directly on chemicals in solution. That is, by chemosynthesis. The bacteria support a food chain which flourishes in warmth and pitch darkness. Is it possible that life on Earth began in such a place? Well, perhaps. We don't know enough to answer that. Life is most rich below the smokers, in the zone of shimmering water, where the leakage of hot fluids from the seafloor is more diffuse. We don't know the velocity of this diffuse flow or its temperature. These are measurements which Medusa is designed to take, along with samples of the fluids themselves. Anyway, Medusa is no problem. Some people ask, what use is all this research? Can you mine the metals which are deposited in sulfide form around the vents? The answer is not yet. There are much cheaper sources on land. Can you use the bacteria for biotechnology? Well, the answer is maybe. First, the bacteria have to be found and identified. There may be some in the sediment samples taken by the push corer.
Medusa Keldysh, Rachel, this is Adam. I understand you're on your way up. Did you get sediment cores, over?
I have two beautiful...
Repeat, two beautiful what, over?
Push cores, over.
Excellent. On your way up, you will see Harry on his way down. We launched him at 6:10, over.
Okay, get the beers out, over and out.
Very nice.
Congratulations. So, how are the water samples?
Beautiful. I think it's this man you've got to congratulate. Medusa hero.
Well done.
Well done.
Чё? Не хотели возвращаться даже, да?
Да, не хотели. Хорошо было, чё-то. So, where did you get the water sample from?
From the base of the Black Smoker chimney.
Где что лежит, чтобы они...
Thank you.
So, tell us.
Right. In here, these are all bits of anhydrite.
Scream if we're stretching it.
There was no rest that night. Once the Medusa had been unloaded, I had to get my sediments to the lab and into the nitrogen tent before they started to oxidize. And shove it up the hole. Then we have to jack it up. You alright?
Oh no.
You're right.
Yeah.
Is that low enough? Is that going to go underneath?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you should be doing it like that. Getting a bit full. I might have to let some air out.
Yeah, I can feel my arms lifting up.
It's going to be a bit of a job getting that in here.
Is it too much?
Do you reckon?
Should I try and do it towards you, just slide these long?
It's not working, it's just too slow.
What a collection of scientific raw materials we now had on board the Keldysh, all alone in the middle of the Atlantic.
It's well sticky.
Pieces of the jigsaw puzzle which may begin to explain hydrothermal vents after further analysis back home in Britain and Russia. Great. And then the rest of it goes in the bag and gets labelled up as 0 to 2 centimetres.
Mud pies.
We hadn't seen a single ship for 2 weeks. Then, on the evening we pulled up instruments and prepared to leave tag.
Russian ship on Peterburg.
Going to Panama.
Тебя рассветы на нежных побережьях кочующей земли, который год все ждут тебя рассветы, пока качает полночь усталый материк. Я солнце собираю на дорогах, потом его возят на флагах корабли, сгрузив туман у моего порога. Потом его возят на флагах корабли, сгрузив туман у моего порога. Туман плывет над морем, в душе моей туман. Все кажется так просто и непросто. Держись, моя столица, зеленый океан, 12 ветров, синий перекресток. Держись, моя столица, зеленый океан, 12 ветров, синий перекресток.
Ну, все мужчины обманщики. Ну, нет таких, которые бы держали свое слово. Нет таких.
They've been reasonably, well, they haven't been that successful. I managed to catch 2 live shrimps in the whole cruise.
It's useless practical experience.
Its name is what is altruism.
I think that's right. We want to get hard ground samples, but what we're particularly interested in is getting shrimp from the site, which we'll be able to suck up quite easily.
I'm very, very pleased to see how change communication, scientific communication, from very cold in beginning to absolute collaboration.
How many specimens of Churocars did you get from the...
Me?
Yeah.
No one. So
None?
Far. Нет.
Well, didn't you get any from Paul's collection?
No, I haven't taken...
Next time when they come up, we should sit down together and go through them.
Yes.
Right now, all discussion is joint discussion about preparation of joint publication, joint paper. We like icebreaker, like something happens and ice is disappear, and I'm very pleased to see it. This was one of the major targets to me when I tried to organize such type joint expedition. It's step for future. A step for future. Okay, I'm pleased. I'm very, very pleased.
With Russian help, we had done what we set out to do. But I wondered what the future might hold for them. Whatever happens amidst the chaos of the former Soviet Union, I hope that their science survives and that the Keldysh sails on.